Welcome to The Worthy Woman, a podcast for the intuitive, ambitious woman who's ready to regulate her nervous system, reconnect with her body, and rise to the next level of success, health, and purpose. I'm your host, Jo, manual osteopath, holistic coach, and nervous system guide, here to walk with you as you heal from the inside out and create a life and a business that actually feels good. On this podcast, we explore the connection between your body, emotions, subconscious patterns, and your ability to lead, create, and live from your worth. Let's get into today's episode. Welcome back to another episode of The Worthy Woman. I'm Johanna, if you're new here, and this is a podcast talking all about how you can upgrade your business, your life, how you can be more successful in your life, and I'm going to be talking today about my week off that I took. I would consider myself at times a workaholic. I've been trying to navigate this, slow down, and I definitely have in some areas of my life, but I have always taken the same week off in the summer, which is the week around my birthday, which was just a couple weeks ago. And I usually take that week off, and I have for the last probably 8 years, but I normally end up working. I'm not treating clients, but I'm working, I'm doing content, I'm getting caught up, I'm like learning course stuff that I haven't been able to like learn, and like just filling my time with other work things and not actually taking a rest. It was just like a catch-up time. And this year I decided I don't want to do that. I need to learn how to take a break. I've even been trying to like take even just like a day of the weekend off to just not do anything, not check emails, not respond to people when it comes to like work related things, trying not to do content, right? Like there's always something to do in business, and it gets exhausting, and the to-do list can feel like it's a mile long. And so this week that I had off, I just wanted to chill. I wanted to recharge. I wanted to have a week where I literally didn't do any form of work. I did do a tiny bit, but I'll explain. I'll explain kind of when I get into it. So what I had learned was that being a workaholic, and I never really considered myself a workaholic. I just felt like I always needed to be productive, and being that way or feeling that way is a nervous system response. When I really reflected on it and I really thought about it, and it's been something I have been navigating, like I said, for a very long time, and it's been stages of it. It's been a progress, but I can say that it actually went pretty good. I did have stuff come up for me, which we will kind of get into. So it was interesting because leading up to it, so my birthday was on the weekend leading up to this week off, and leading up to it, I was just like, I just wanted to work. It was so weird. I was like, I wanted to work. I wanted to open my, like content things. I wanted to actively learn courses. Like I was like thinking about like all the things I want to do and blah, 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 right? Now, mind you, I did still have a to-do list for my week off of all the things I wanted to do, but they were not work oriented. And that was a huge step for me. I think, getting out of the routine piece and like the things I want to do in the to-do list is like another piece of it that I still need to like work through. But just the fact that I wasn't doing work was a huge piece. But like I said, I wanted to get into content. I wanted to map out my week. I wanted to I'm like, oh, I have time off. I can like take this course that I wanted to or watch this masterclass or whatever. Like I wanted to expand my knowledge of things. But when it really came down to it, all I was doing was just trying to find something work related to do and just filling my space and filling my time. Like I said, I had a list of things I wanted to do, but they were not work things. But in the back of my mind, a lot throughout the week, it probably wasn't until like the later half or like the middle where I was like at peace a little bit with the fact that like I just had time off and I had, space and time to do things. And then later into the following weekend, like that Friday, Saturday, kind of near the end, was where I already was like, oh, one more day until I can like go back and work. So I enjoy what I do. I love what I do. I love learning about the things that I love to do. I love to expand my knowledge. I love learning in general. And I feel like that is why I feel drawn to it at sometimes, where like I don't really feel like it's out of alignment. I don't really feel like it's a nervous system response. However, that initial like I gotta be doing something all the time, and I feel like I can't go do something else because I have to do this. Like there's a fine line of a difference of like I feel called to do this and this feels in alignment versus this pressure to do something and show up in a certain way. And that's where I'm trying to get rid of that pressure and trying to release that pressure from myself, because I put pressure on myself, but I also feel it. I felt it my whole life, honestly, of like, I'm not where I want to be in my business. I'm 33. I don't have children. You know what I mean? Like all of these things, like I don't live in the house I want to live in. I want my car paid off. I want like, you know, there's all these things where I'm just like, I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. And all this is just this rush and this pressure to get there faster. But the reality is once we got there, we're still going to have another goal, another post to hit, right? And especially as business owners, as ambitious people, goal-oriented people, we lose sight or can lose sight of the fact that we need to be present now, right? The time that matters and the time that we have is only right now. It's not in the future and it's not in the past, right? We don't even know about the future. We don't know where that's going to take us, right? So we have to be focused on what's going on right now and what's going on in the present moment. And if we can do that, then I think that's where we're going to find a lot more peace, a lot more happiness. I found way more creativity taking space and time off, right, than if I was just trying to keep working and forcing myself to kind of do things, you know? So that was like I had a lot of that mental chatter of like, you should be working, you should be doing things. And wouldn't say I had as much like anxiousness, but I could tell I was tired. Like I needed space. I needed time to kind of actually chill, to relax, to navigate just kind of like what was kind of coming up for me, you know, like I just needed space, I needed time, and I needed to allow myself that space and time, not just like think, oh, I'm not at clinic treating people, so I'm not working, but it's like I am, right? So I needed that space and time to give myself. So I did a lot of fun things. Like I said, I had a whole to-do list of things that I wanted to do. Monday was the holiday in Canada here, so I was still with my boyfriend and hanging out and just kind of doing whatever. So Monday was kind of an extension of the weekend, so I didn't really get like a whole lot like done, we'll say. We just kind of hung out and relaxed and rested, and it was great. Tuesday, what did I do Tuesday? Tuesday I cleaned my entire room. And like when I say cleaned, I like cleaned, but then I like also got rid of a bunch of shit. And I also shredded a ton of paper for my thesis that I wrote like almost 5 years ago. I also got rid of I had a ton of like old jewelry, like not necessarily the best jewelry. I had a bunch of like old makeup and stuff like that. Like, you know, those like cabinets and those drawers that you have? I'm like, I had those, and I was like, I need to go through this and like get rid of stuff. So I like purged a bunch of stuff, and then I went to HomeSense, here, which is again here in Canada, but I went there just to see that there was a couple things I wanted to kind of add to my room that would support the organization piece of it, but also just like things that I was looking for. And it's kind of one of the stories you don't really know what you're going to find when you get there, so I just kind of took it in stride. And that's what I did on Tuesday, and then I watched a movie at 8:45 p.m. Normally I'm in bed by 9:30, lights out, like, you know, like I'm 10:30 at the max, lights are on, but if I'm going to bed at 10:30, I've probably read for like an hour. So for me to like start a movie at 8:45 at night is pretty late. So I did that Tuesday night because I was like, screw it, I can do this. Like, I don't have to go anywhere tomorrow that, like, you know, I have to function for. Wednesday, I had like a personal appointment, and then I went to I went and bought some books, and I went to a crystal store, and there was something else I did Wednesday. I had to do a bunch of laundry and stuff like that, but that was wonderful. I probably spent too much money that day, which was interesting because it also built up a lot of, a little bit more of that pressure again around specifically money for me. It brought up like, oh my gosh, I'm spending all this money. I need to like find a way to make it all back kind of thing. So that was an interesting day just because I did notice that starting to come up. And the interesting piece about having this week off and doing stuff like that was the fact that I actually had space to process. I had space to be like reflective a little bit of like what was coming up for me. Thursday, I was doing like laundry and like, you know, just like cleaning my bedding and like that sort of thing. And then I went and visited my sister, which was really nice because she lives a couple hours away. So I was able to drive up there, go spend kind of the afternoon into the evening with her, and then her kids and her husband, and then come home. Again, didn't have to worry about what time I was coming home, which was nice. And then Friday, I had honestly like a very spiritual day. And when I say that, I like made a crystal grid and I set my intention and I cleansed my space, cleansed my energy, did a meditation. That day was like the Lionsgate 8/8 portal or whatever, however you want to kind of look at it. So I did some intention setting, and for me, it was kind of a good time because my birthday is the 2nd of August. So it was a good way for me to kind of set intention for this year, right? This year for myself. So again, I took that time and space. I really wanted to kind of do that for myself. And so I did it, right? And then into the weekend, I was kind of more at my boyfriend's place again. So again, just more kind of resting, relaxation. Not gonna lie, Saturday and Sunday, I did work. I allowed myself to work because I was getting prepared for the week, which was part of it. And there were some things that I knew the week was going to be busy. So I just wanted to kind of get some of those things dealt with, which was great. But I had the creativity this week that I had off, right? I had the creativity to do things, to explore things. When I go back, the Monday that I had, that was the holiday, I did work a little bit that day. And that was because I had 2 coaching calls that I was on. Not me coaching, but being coached. But what was nice about it was that I had those sessions. A lot of creativity and ideas came through. I was way more open, less stressed about all the shit I had to do that week. So I was able to kind of like take what happened and what was talked about in those sessions, and then I was able to sit with it for a bit and like brainstorm. I had so much creativity come up for you this week, guys. Like, I honestly can't tell you how much I had ideas just zinging all over, right? And I find for myself, I struggle with content. I struggle with creating things because I'm so busy in my regular life. It's like I don't give myself the space that I truly actually need to fully be creative and fully fill my own cup so that I have even just the tolerance, you know, to be creative. And so that was a big eye opener. Like, I always knew that, but it was very eye opening to just see how the creativity came through. And so through this week that I had off, even though I had a tiny bit of work, I mainly went on those calls because I'm not going to have one again for 2 weeks. So I was like, I want to kind of get in, and I did have some questions. Otherwise I probably would have missed them, but I did genuinely have questions. So that was kind of what I did. That was what I did in my week off. And honestly, as somebody who works a lot and is always thinking about work, what I learned was that I don't have to be doing things in my business all the time to see growth. I actually got a bunch of new clients that week based on stuff I had done the week before. I had people messaging me about stuff. I had even just my own energy felt good. Like, that allowed me to be more productive, right? And yes, I could feel some of the pressure and some of those things come up, but it's a learning process. It's a learning thing, the things that we have to learn, and we have to go through that uncomfortable feeling a little bit if we want to see growth and we want to see, if we want to see ourselves navigate in a different way, especially when we don't feel aligned. continually been working on making my business feel the most aligned for myself, especially because I have a business where I work with people and I help people. It can be really easy to get overwhelmed by how much you're giving and how much you're pouring outwardly to other people. And you have to be giving that space and that time back to yourself. If you want to be successful, if you want to be creative, if you want to feel fulfilled, if you want to be happy, right? Like we do have to create space for, the most basic things that we need, right? And like I said, like being a workaholic or constantly feeling like you have to work all the time is a nervous system response. It's often, I would say, it's linked to like being in fight mode. Like, so being in that fight response of the nervous system where you're like, I gotta go, I gotta be busy, I always have to be doing something, I always have to be moving, and I always have to it's kind of that anxious, but doesn't feel anxious. It just feels busy. Like, you know what I mean? Like it feels like I got this, I got that, I got this, I got that, I got to do this, and I got that, and the list is in your brain, and you're like processing things, and you're like, it's like your mind is very active. That's what I find a lot of times. Like my mind is very active, and so it's like I have to allow myself to get out of that space, which that might be uncomfortable, right? The fact that I had to sit with the fact that like, no, we're not working this week. We're taking time off to do our own thing. The things can wait, right? Things aren't changing. Things aren't going anywhere. It's okay, right? And like I said, I had clients come to me, like new clients show up in my schedule. I had, new opportunities, different opportunities that came into my awareness. And I wouldn't have had those possibly if maybe I was working or forcing or pushing. I definitely wouldn't have the clarity and the creativity, that's for sure. But it just went to show that I can take time off and things can still thrive, things can still grow, and things can still change. And I hope for you, if you're listening to this and you resonate with working all the time, you resonate with like feeling that pressure to perform, to hit the goal, hit the achievement. Maybe it's just the Capricorn in me, I don't know. But if you feel that pressure and those things, like I highly encourage you to even just take one day. If you can do one day, take 2 days, like take a weekend, right? Just let yourself be present in the moment. Go play with your kids, go read a book and not have to worry about how long you've read it for, go binge watch a show, like do something that allows you to just forget about time, forget about what you're trying to achieve, forget about what you're trying to go after, and give yourself that space. Right? Especially if you're in a space where you're feeling like lack of creativity or stressed or pressure. Like we have to realize and start to realize when we need to take a step back. And when we can do that, oh my gosh, like when you take that step back, I'm telling you, like it helped me so much. I feel so good and I felt refreshed, genuinely, going back into work. And like I said, the creativity, the ideas, whether it was content or just like the different business ideas, like all of that really started to spark and feel good. So I highly encourage you to take some time off and some space. And I would love to know if you've ever tried this, or again, if these things like pop up for you. Let me know if you struggle with this pattern like I do. Like I said, it's an ongoing process for me. It's something that I've been working through and trying to navigate for a while now, and I have seen improvement. It's just taking a bit of time because it's this conditioning, it's this idea, this belief of what I think I should be doing, rather than maybe the reality of it, right? So let me know if you guys want to know what kind of nervous system state you're typically in. I do have a free quiz for that, so you guys can check that out. I have also done podcast episodes on each of them, so when you take the quiz, you'll know which one, and then that'll lead you to a podcast episode, so you guys can check those out. I just finished that series of there's 4 different types. There's fight, flight, freeze, and fawn. So you guys can check those out. And otherwise, you guys can follow me on Instagram. If you're not already following me on Instagram, I do post a lot of information and stuff over there. And yeah, let me know what you thought of this episode. Let me know if you enjoyed this episode. If you have anything you want to learn about or know about, you can message me on Instagram as well. And yeah, just shoot me a message and I'll get back to you and add it to the list of things to chat about. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you for being here as always. I greatly appreciate it. I hope you guys are doing well, and I hope that you're giving yourself time and space to rest and be creative and have fun. And yeah, if you guys have any questions, like I said, feel free to reach out. But otherwise, I will see you guys next week for the next episode. Bye.